Yep.
Thank God it's Friday.
It's Friday, my dudes.
And TGIF. I Heart Winston. Welcome everybody to Have No Sphere right here on the Iron Room Media YouTube channel. Forgive the weird intros. I'm still down a few sound files in the loss of my external hard drive and the great flood of 21. But I'm upstairs now. New computer has been ordered. He will be buying the parts today or tomorrow. He's got everything on hand to include a video card, so it ought to be a relatively quick build. I just happened to run across a nice little blue microphone over there on the Facebook Marketplace from a local guy. So I figured I'd add a new microphone to go with the new computer, and we'll just have a whole new sound once that gets up and running. New sound, new mic, new computer, new studio. Look at this crazy stuff happen. I love it. Well, we're running bare bones. Running bare face bones this evening. We are. Let's say hello to Mr. Walter Johnson. You might know him as Flat Earth Head on the YouTubes, or if you're an emailer, you might know him as facebones777@gmail.com. Walter, how are you doing, sir? How was your Friday?
It is Friday, my dudes. My goodness, the day we've had with Friday, but we've made it happen by the hardest. Here we are. It's all sigh relief. Yeah, a lot of hot sound bites there on your intro, for sure.
Yeah, you noticed that, did you?
I did. If you saw me jump, that was kind of what that was. I'm not going to
It's
say I'm
Friday,
jealous.
my dudes.
You're letting somebody else build your computer. I'm not jealous. I'm not upset that you said you let me. I'm just kidding. I'm glad you're getting one, man. I couldn't build you one now if I wanted to because parts are not to be found.
And see, there you go. He is literally within 2 miles of the spot where he can just go and
more power to you, friend. I'm glad you, because I was like looking around just to see for shits and giggles if there were anything like, because I'm still struggling with looking for a graphics card. And yeah, you did good what you found. I'm very impressed with it. I can't wait to see what it does.
I got lucky with the graphics card. Some guy, he building one before, was going to have it built, and then because the graphics card had a little bit of red, he just canceled the whole order. So he was been sitting on this graphics card for a minute, looking for some place to stick it. And I said, well, you know what? I think that's going to be exactly what I need. So let's just run with that. I think that'll be the best. So Otherwise, I'd have to wait 30 days just for him to get the graphics card. So expediency
good
was
luck.
key.
You did good getting it. So
yeah, I'm excited.
But
I'm
yes,
really
excited. Friday, we made it. Had a great show this morning after we finally got it going. Shout out to the MVP, the Snunder from Down Under himself, Lucas, keeping it down while we were struggling to even get going. That by the hardest. But like I said, it was great. And this afternoon's going to be great. We have a guest we've promised, we've said we would have. And again, me running here to get here and getting him in here. We did it. We finally got him here. Voynich, boy, welcome, friend. Glad to have you here finally.
Hi, Walt. Hi, Josh. So I wanted to know, Josh, is the new gear that you bought is like this steampunk microphone? It's like I like it.
Well, this isn't even the new one yet. This was still my old one.
This is the old one.
This
so
is the old one.
The new one's gonna look even more awesome.
No, it's going to look almost identical to this, but blue. And then this pop filter here that's on the front, the metal pop filter that comes with it, will say blue right across the front. I've got the 8-ball, the blue 8-ball, the generation 2 of their ball microphones sitting over here. And there's either some dust in the connections or some wonky connections in the cables, but I think I should have it up and running over there. So it'll be a blue microphone studio here in just 2 days. I go pick up the new mic on Sunday afternoon. He's out of town now. His flight gets in at 3:30. He's going to meet me at 5.
Something to look forward to.
That's right.
Yeah. Nice.
So I really appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate you being in our chats. I really appreciate all the support you've given us. It's really awesome. But then to have you here is just really cool. So thanks for coming to hang out with us tonight.
It's you guys doing the work. Come on, I'm just hanging in there, hanging out there, actually. Yeah. So, but it's nice to be here, and thanks for the invite. Yeah. What can I say?
Well, for those who haven't checked out your channel, kind of let us know what you're all about.
What am I all about? Well,
I've
my
seen
channel.
some of the things you've done here and there, my friend. So I know you have a wide variety to cover, but kind of tell us what got you here. What brought you to coming and hanging out with a bunch of crazy flat earthers on a YouTube channel?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I remember it very clearly. I used to watch a lot of YouTube, right, and was into flat Earth and all these other things, myths, legends, Martin Liedke stuff, right? Oh, there goes my. And so I got into this this Voynich manuscript, of which I never heard of, and I was like, huh, what's this? So it started with a YouTube video, and I looked up the Voynich manuscript and I downloaded it and I started working on it. That's actually how it started. And somehow I got connected, and I was busy for about a year, not only with decoding it. It was a very busy year for me. I also had a lot of jobs and holidays, long holidays, working on the holidays and decoding it. It was a very busy year and very inspired year. And but by decoding the Voynich manuscript, I got so deep into this darker world, or this twilight world, that I found out, like, I think I should stop this. I wasn't doing it continuously because it took a deep focus for me to get to read it. But after a year passed and I was decoding it, but it felt like too much of a dark world. It got too dark. It got too gloomy. And So I said, I'm going to stop this. But it was I was dedicated to this because I've been solving this mystery that nobody ever solved, and here I was doing something that really worked, and I wasn't thinking that I solved a mystery, but I was getting something out of it, and I decided to stop that. I said to myself, okay, now stop it, stop it. Maybe continue after a year, but first stop this. So I stopped very decisively, and I said to myself, so what are you gonna do now? Because what are you gonna do now? And so I said to myself, okay, just play this stupid game on your telephone and watch YouTube again, like you did before. Because in the year previous to that, I was just decoding this Voynich manuscript in my spare time. When I had like a few days off or a night off, I would do that. And so I said, okay, no more of that, just cold turkey. No, and so I started watching YouTube again. I think that was 2018, end of 2017. Well, I think the start of 2018. And then, then I saw these live streams with chat possibilities, right? And well, that's how it all got started. And that's how I got to YouTube, actually.
So this manuscript, which some people may not have been exposed to, it's one of those big ones out there. I have looked at it. I've looked at the big versions you can look at that are real detailed, and
oh, really?
The ones you have that they have the big ones online that are like you have to scan across them and things. So it's. I don't know. It gave me a weird feeling just not knowing anything about what I was actually seeing. Just seeing the images and seeing those symbols and things that look like writing. And I remember the one that really kind of broke my brain was the lady, and she got into that like table thing, and then she turned into this reptilian alligator-like thing. And I was like, what am I looking at here? So what did you get out of it? It definitely felt weird and unsettling to me. And then you said it kind of made you want to go away. So what did you find? What made you back off? What frightened you, I guess, if it was unsettling?
What made me back off? Well, that it was. Here's one, Voy, before you get too far into that. For Liz the Iron Maiden, this is all new information to her. Can you give her a little bit of the background as what the Voynich manuscripts are and sort of where they were found and the legend?
I'll share some images and things unless you have specific ones you want to share, sir. It'd be up to you, really. But I can
no, please do. Please.
Stuff. I'll just pull up like what I find. I don't have any saved handy.
What was I telling again? Like
we were going to try to get just to the sort
just
of
kind of a
legend.
history and what this actually is and why it is.
It's a mysterious handwriting on this old, I don't know, beach. How do you call it? Birchment paper, and it's like high quality writing, and it's. Yeah, and nobody deciphered it yet, and it's it just looks magical, and it's like a mystery that's been there. It might also be just a Jesuit trick, because it was allegedly found by somebody no, it was preserved by this. In this bookstore, and this bookstore was called Voynich. I think that's the story. And so a Jesuit bought it out of that bookstore, and it became like a mystery since ever it was discovered, like 400 years ago, or so the story goes. And it's been in the hands of several kings, well, not kings, but rulers of how do you call this? Like in Italy, these barons and
like the emperors and
right? And they've tried to decipher it, or they just wanted to have it. And it's now, I think the original now is in the hands of Yale University at the moment, or so they say. That's all I remember of it. I didn't do too much. Um, I didn't look too much background information. I just saw a few videos, and one inspired me very much to just start, trying it, because what I saw in the video was I started opposing it. This man came with the solution. I was, no, that cannot be the solution. It must be this and that. And I was thinking to myself, why do you think it must be that and that? Why do you have like such a? So I started with that, and that's how my interest was lit, and from there it just took off. And it.
Well, before I share this version that I just found, it's from a site that says that it's free. They ask for donations. I'm busy trying to do a show. If you guys can throw them a couple bucks, that's fine. I'll do it after the show for sure through PayPal. But I sent the link through the chat.
I think that's the same link. And there's also another.
And I've had a few things from them. So yeah, definitely help them out. I'm going to go pull that up. Give me a second.
I think I have that version also downloaded. That's how that's where I got my the manuscript from. It's still on my tablet. I haven't touched it for 3 years. It's like it's still tempting though. Sometimes it's still a bit tempting, but yeah, I've made my decision.
And then what was it then? What was that decision that said, you know what, I've just got to put this down and step away because I've got to be done? What was it that turned you away?
Give me Sharon real quick, Josh. I'm sorry. Excuse me, boy. I didn't mean to.
Sorry, my fault.
No, that's okay. Well, what made me turn away is that it mostly was talking about the bad thing, about evil things, right? It revealed things, only revealed evil things. And evil things in the future, and evil things in the present, and evil things in the past, and who did it, and who's gonna do it, and then I got affirmations of that same, of those things that were claimed in the manuscript or in my decoding of it. So that was pretty scary, and then I came to the conclusion: look, it's only talking about the bad things, and it's not talking about anything positive or anything good. So that's where I said, okay, I'm just gonna leave it.
Sorry, I don't know what happened, but I'm not able to share still, Josh.
What? Oh no, that's my fault. There's always a silly confirmation dialogue. There you go. Now you're good.
Okay. Now
But when I started, there was nothing else I wanted to share with people than, look, guys, look what I found. Look, and then soon enough I found out, like, this is not something I can share with everybody. It was like information so deep, like you can't share it with everybody. And then there was information about me, and then there was information about the people around me and who they have been in previous lives. And I was like, no, it can't be. It can. I thought I was going crazy. Right?
So now you'll have to expound on that just a little bit. It was describing to you people in your real life?
Yeah. It actually had like most of the names of the people that were in my life actually at the time. It had those names in them, in the manuscript. Written in a different language, right? In a different way of putting things. So there might be 1 or 2 letters that are different, but it's there. And it was pretty shocked. So I literally thought that I was going crazy. So I shared it with my sister. I said, listen, Rebecca, look, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I do it. And she looked at it and she said, well, this is not just some fad or something that you made up. This is really something that's going on. I said, yeah. And she said, well, you're not going crazy, dude. It's, I don't know what it is, but you're not going crazy. And but it, she didn't know what to think of it either.
So
And
as I
neither.
was scrolling through some of these first pages, I still am just like in these floral almost pictures of these plants that don't exist.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the hell? I mean, what are we? What is this? What
I
did you
can't.
get out of it?
I don't know. I know. I wish I could.
Okay.
I wish I could. I wish I could.
Oh, man.
But to me, the as far as I've seen it, I did make some sense of some pictures that helped me decode the letters or the symbols. But for me, mostly the pictures are just distraction. Just a decoy.
Maybe that's why I'm so intrigued by them. Is it's keeping me from the bad
But
stuff.
they're beautiful nonetheless. I mean,
Yeah,
and
amazing watercolors. Amazing watercolor.
yeah, absolutely. And there's also this beautiful pattern somewhere.
I know
And
this 500 like whatever pages or whatever it is, so it'll take me forever to go. I was just going to show a few so Liz would get an idea. I dropped the link for you guys to check it out yourselves, and apparently it's something that you do need to check out for yourself for sure.
it's magical. It's magical. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't think that I found the solution. I think
I
it took me
found
to.
a solution.
I found to be honest, I found several solutions because, yeah, because I tried. I was trying. Like, does this work or does that work? Right? Is it like this or is it like that? And so I found a solution, and then I saw like, well, this still works actually. That other solution also works, and so I found several solutions. Of course, you think you're going crazy, and then you read, the names of your loved ones, and the weird thing was, I started writing down in a language like I was reading the symbols, right? I was given the symbols value, and I was writing down those values or those pronunciations, but I didn't know what I was writing down. But I just kept on doing it, and it made no sense to me. It wasn't English, it wasn't Dutch, or it wasn't the language. But I just kept on doing that for weeks in a row until later on I got to understand what I was writing down. Like, oh, this is how I have to read it. Aha. And then I understood, like, what have I been writing down? Right. So there was, yeah, it was such a weird experience, dude. It's,
So do you? I mean, are these experiences unusual in your life? Are these things that have happened to you in other aspects, like growing up? Or is your family connected?
well, I found out about that.
Stuff like that.
I found out about that, like what happened in, like, when I was young, because that's what the Voynich manuscript told me. Like, this and that happened when you were young, and that's why things are a bit skewed. And I was like, I wasn't looking for that, I was just trying to decode something, and I found that, and I was like, huh. So I started asking some questions, and everybody glitched, everything glitched, and I was like, okay. So when do you have time to talk? When do you have time to talk? Well, not for the next 3 months. That's weird. Things totally glitched out. And so I thought, well, I must have hit a nerve. It was not what I was looking for. It was not what I was looking for. It was a bad thing, and I got to know a bad thing, and everybody got nervous. Everybody got pretty nervous, and yeah. So that's also, yeah. I know more, but I know a bit more about the things they make me they wanted me to forget. So yeah, it's a crazy situation. So yeah, yeah.
I think definitely most of us would find some surprising things in our history of family, and not just immediate but ancestral history. I think that's
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of why we are drawn to the truths and the things that are a little beyond the norm. That's why we look at these things. We're not just following the sheep along with their 9 to 5 grind, you know. What have the things you've found since really digging in more into the flat earth side of things a little more enlightening, I guess?
Well, I mainly started just watching the YouTube and entertaining just to be entertained. I didn't know what else to do because I just needed to get my mind off things, and so I just glued myself to the screen, and I found a whole new YouTube um, experience by this live streaming and the chat, and just soon enough you feel like part of the community, so to say, or so yeah, and that's actually how I got started on YouTube, and I like the people like me, and then I got into this streaming thing, and I think it's an awesome way to meet great people and to have a conversation or just to hang out.
I know exactly, sir. That's why we do our thing here. Exactly
Right?
the thing. Exactly. Well, definitely, I've seen an interesting array. Sometimes you'll break down music. Sometimes you'll do memes, like literally showing some memes that are going around. I notice your musical taste tends to run very similar to mine in some respects, quite often, quite often. So,
Nice.
unfortunately, with YouTube's crap, we don't share too much music here. We've already gotten punished off of our main channel for sharing the videos. So, definitely
Yeah, I should be more careful too,
be
but
careful with the music, man.
yeah,
I was going to say
yeah.
that. Definitely be careful.
I've been hit with a strike once for 3 months, and that really hurts, man. That really
That's what
hurts.
we're sitting on right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
almost there. We got like a month and a little bit maybe left. I don't even know. I have to go look at the
Yeah.
date again. Well, so it inspired you to do some shows. Did I see you doing some observations out at the beach? Do I remember that at some point?
Mm, no,
Maybe you were just
no, I never.
sharing
No, I never
somebody
did.
else's. I may have tuned in and thought it was yours as well. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, I might have shared it, but no, I never did some experiments on flat Earth. No,
Well, that
and
was definitely something I had to do. It was like I had to do it. You know, I had to get out there and see it for myself. There was as many people as I could see videos and watch and all that. That was great, but I needed to get out there. I needed to go out there and make it something that I had seen for myself. So definitely, and then definitely meeting those people helps for sure. Do I keep
oh,
hearing the doorbell ringing, Josh? Is that what I'm hearing?
I absolutely love it when this happens. We are joined by Benjamin Balderson out of the blue. Benjamin, how in
Hi,
the hell are you
Benjamin
doing, sir?
Balderson. I know that dude.
We're not really hearing you, but we see your smiling face. Yeah, no, that's nothing.
There we
There
go.
we go. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Apparently not more talented with computers than I was last time.
Well, you're in
I was
good
gonna say
company then.
You scrambled your way back to the world of electronics, sir.
Stumbled. Yep.
Yes, good to hear you. Good to hear you. I think I've killed my camera. What did I do?
You did kill it.
So sorry. Doing
How are you guys doing today?
We're doing good, man. We're hanging out with Voynich. He's always hanging out.
Voynich, huh?
Yeah, so he's hanging out with us, kind of getting to know him.
How you doing, Benjamin? Maestro?
Fantastic. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, we're hanging out with all of y'all.
Nice.
Absolutely, man. So, sir, you've been on a sabbatical.
Yep. I, just trying to get the lab going and the farm going, and it's been something else. And now we finally got things going. And then my daughter's having some issues, so one of my grandkids came to stay with me, and had some baby goats, and had a calf since I talked to you guys last, and so I'm milking my milk cow, and yeah, just lots of stuff.
Life happens for damn sure, man. Well, it's good to hear your voice, friend. It's good to see your energy is definitely flowing out there. Definitely. I need to get back connected to all that myself. I feel like I'm so disconnected from nature in my cycle right now. Too many screens in my life. So
Yep. That is the time frame that we're in. We're in that etheric portion of the cycle where people really you lose that connection to root, and it gets real tough to maintain. You even look at today's science, 80% of science can't be replicated. That's no root. If it has no root, there's no reality to it, you can't make it happen on this world, then it's just a engineer's etheric idea. Stupid phone.
be careful.
Don't want to sit straight.
Right?
There we go.
But yeah, definitely the idea of preaching it but not doing enough of it. Telling everybody to get out there and reconnect, and definitely not practicing what I preach. So even our buddy Zach, he's out there by the water every day, and I'm like, dude, that's where I should be. It's right down the road. It's not like it's far from me. It's not like it's hard to do, but again, too many damn screens. Too many damn screens.
Yeah. Too many ideas. That's a guy can get caught in it.
And if it's not that, it's me wanting to play my guitar or whatever. So yeah, I definitely have gotten let myself get wrapped up in a lot of distractions of late.
I meant to learn how to play fiddle this winter. Never did get around to it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I got a little bit down, but this last summer, Freddie Badger came and stayed at my place for a while, and he sat on the front porch and played banjo, quite a few nights, and that was just the best. And in the summer, we don't even watch TV and have computers or anything. So in the summer, especially, we sit out on the front porch, stare at the stars, listen to some tunes. And that's a good time.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So what are we discussing today, gentlemen?
More just getting to know Roy. Like I said, he's been in our chat forever. I've popped in and out on his channel as I've seen his live streams, and just getting to know some people, getting to know our family. That's kind of why we're here, is to get to know these amazing people that are out there doing these things that help wake up everybody else, plant the seeds, get some knowledge out there. So
nice. So I assume the name is in reference to the Voynich manuscripts.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
So, but we more or less stopped explaining that because we were just getting Red Earth. But okay, yeah. But
yeah. Go ahead, man. Tell him. I mean, it's something that definitely is intriguing, and
it's something that changed my life, because I tried decoding it and I got something out of it. And I was looking into alchemy, right? Like you yourself are, and that's how I also got to via myths and legends and alchemy. That's how I probably got notified by that to that Voynich manuscript video, right? That inspired me to try to decode it, and it worked. Like not from the get-go, but almost from right from the bed. Like really weird stuff started happening, and so yeah, it changed my life. And so I also did videos. Actually, the first few videos that I did were about the Voynich manuscript because I couldn't talk to anybody in my direct environment about it. So that's also why that's why I started calling my channel Voynich. So that's, to go short, that's a story. Yeah.
Your alchemical like path, was that kind of like maybe the end result was finding this Voynich thing, and it meant something because of what you had kind of studied before that?
Well, it felt like it certainly had this how do you say, cathartic effect on me, but I don't know if it was like the final how do you say, coagulation or a final I don't know what that, no, I don't know. But I think I'll have to wait a few more years to be able to say something sensible about that. It's still when I talk to you guys about it, I still feel like something unsolved inside, right?
It's a whole lot of difference between understanding something inside your own head and being able to explain it to the rest of the world. That's a whole lot of difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't realize that, but that took me a long time. That was the hardest thing I ever had to do. That's way harder than doing the alchemy, trying to figure out how to explain it.
Yeah. There you have it. Yeah.
Especially if it's something that's so personal, something that was such a personal experience that happened obviously to you, that was like almost directed, beamed at you. How do you even begin to talk to somebody about that? They're not going to have any reference when they're trying to read it and make sense of it. It's not going to mean a damn thing to them. Like it's like an LSD trip. Nobody's going to get it.
Yeah. Well, at first, my sister understood it and tried to understand it, and she was, she showed some interest. But yeah, I can't blame her for not understanding it. I can't blame her. No. Yeah.
So what did you get out of the manuscript? I mean, of what you can say, of what little you can explain, what is it just medicinal? Is this something similar to the Trinisophia? What would you state that it is?
Well, there's a lot still that I haven't decoded. I think I decoded maybe 25 pages, and some of them are with like small text, like alongside of the pictures, but there's also pages with just text, with just only text. Those took me like 2 days to do, but those are, oh man, yeah, like you said, like so trippy, man. The whole experience was so trippy. But what I got out of it was actually insight into my previous lives, to my current life, like very current, like happening in the moment. Like when I was reading it and understanding it, it would say, you will hear something falling on the ground now, and you're gonna have to take a leak. You're gonna, right? And I was reading it like, and something fell on the ground, and I had to go to the toilet.
So
I was like,
there was a movie out once upon a time. I think it was a John Carpenter movie called In the Mouth of Madness.
Yes, sir.
And basically it was about an author who would write things. And it was basically the same thing would happen. These people were taking it and experiencing what was happening in the books as they read the books. And it was really messing with their brains. When I saw that movie, it totally messed me up for like 3 weeks. I would just like lay awake at night in bed before I'd fall asleep. And Jesus Christ. He woke up from a dream, woke up from a dream. If that happened to me and it never stopped, I would go insane. Oh my God. The whole movie just like, it was, looking back, it's a piece of garbage. It's a very dated movie, but there's a lot of concepts in there that were really mind bending for me at the time.
Don't you hate doing that, going back to things and you're like, It was so awesome. It's
It was
seminal.
great
And then
in
you're
the
like,
80s, right?
yeah.
It was great in the 80s. Well, this idea of a book being real, I have had that experience. I know it sounds trite, but I was a huge Stephen King fan. I loved his work, and his books moved me in emotional ways, not just who it was scary, in deeply, deeply emotional ways. And for him to bring that out of someone, and it happened to a lot of same people that I share these books with. In fact, there was one book he read. I was so angry at results that happened in that book. I was like, I'd have been that day writing the angry letter and on the internet if that was a thing back then. Anyway, so he wrote these Dark Tower books, which tied together this universe that he had created through these other just random books. And so for this to be the complicated thing, first of all, okay, was he figuring this out over the years? Was this a bigger thing? And then as you get through these books, by the time it ended, I knew I had read a true story. I had read a true experience. And I met a person about a week after I finished the book who I had never laid eyes on, a friend's wife. And she had the book laying on the table. And I was like, oh my God, that's such a good book. Where are you? She said, I've just finished it. And you're going to think I'm crazy, but that was a true story. And my mouth just hit the fucking floor. I'm like, holy shit, that's insane. So she's been my truth slinger sister ever since then.
Well, you guys know the future writes the past, right? The future happens first.
Okay. Well, that's kind of what this book talks about.
That's the way it works.
That's kind of the whole thing with the tower and the central point of the time. That's where it all is about, is that time point.
Sure. Dude, exactly. I mean, I know exactly I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I was I was deeply connected with that point. Like I was there. It would tell me what had happened and that I made the right choice, and what would have happened if I would have made another choice. And it would tell me what I was thinking at the moment. And it got so. At a certain point, I was looking something up in the book because I was telling my friend, look, dude, it tells me about this, it tells me about that. And he asked me, what does it say about me? I said, I haven't read your name yet. I think that's so weird, I think that might be a good sign, but I don't know. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to look it up the next time I will read. I will decode. So I start looking for the letter. That's that his name starts with, right? And I looked it up, and it said, "You're looking with his eyes now. Don't do that." And I was like, "Fuck, dude! You shouldn't read like this." And I was, "Fuck! You shouldn't you shouldn't be trying to read something about somebody, crazy, And I just stopped reading. It was so, these things kept on happening, Crazy.
Interesting. Well, I'll take a shot at explaining it. So, the past is a very solid, stable thing. So, alchemically, that's enough. Alchemically, you look at that as your salt side. That's something tangible. It's solid, structured. We can investigate it, touch it. Now, the future is your etheric side. Stop. Your future is your etheric side. That's going to be your oil side, your gaseous side. This is where your ideas reside, where change can happen. Because in your engineer world, you can literally make anything happen. But engineering has to meet reality. So the idea is a fluid thing and is changeable, where reality is more solid. So the fluid is what catches the signal. When you look at a lake, when you yell at it, you can literally see that sound hit the water and it receive it and sending out the waves. So that water is acting as a receiver for the fluid, or for the future. It catches through that fluid, passes through that fluid into the salt. Now, the salt represents your tangible material. So when you look at this as from a construction perspective, the future, stop. The idea is the engineer. This is what your house could be. But now you need to go back and you need to get the supplies in order to manifest that in our current time frame.
Right. So to me,
That's
it's
how
about
you see it. Stop.
3 weeks, and I'll sort of maybe have something to.
There is a bulldog next to went and parked next to us, and he's
That's
just
what
as
it
white as these two yahoos. And
Right. Got to show their dominance, man. That's their job.
yeah.
So this script, okay, it's symbols. It's not a written language that we are familiar with, and
No.
we've been shown so many ways, so many times. Symbols are what make this world. So knowing that, and knowing that not only do they make this world, but they are energy, they bring energy in and out, they are powerful things. Is it possible that by this decode you did, Voynich, you these symbols were like tapping into this flow of time that Benjamin's talking about, this malleability of it by like kind of making this cycle between you, the symbols, the time. I don't know what I'm trying to say. This is a big thing, Lord. It's hard to put into.
No, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think that like looking at the symbols gets me into a certain transcendental state, or
Right.
to be able to communicate. Yeah. Well, I thought of that too, but that must be part of it too. But I was also just applying what I found. It was not. I was not in high. I was in higher realms, but I was focused. I was really focused on what I could. I can explain what I did. I still have it on paper, and yeah. And since it's quite precise, and since there's several codes, and I tried many. There's many solutions to it, but no, yeah. I mean, I still have it there written down, and yeah, it was not me being in a higher state or ghost writing something. When looking at, I was really following a pattern that I created. Yeah. So, but certainly that it must be part of it. It must be a part of it. That connection to the higher realm. Yeah. But it's crazy to look into the future and into the past. I was not doing it. I was not expecting it. I was not expecting anything, and then to walk into such a profound insight.
No doubt.
Crazy.
And I already suspect that manuscript comes from a different portion of the cycle anyways. That's why I don't think the cannabis is the only plant on that is particularly recognizable.
Is that, I didn't even know that was in there. See, that's one I didn't know was in there. I know it's all a complete mystery pharmacopoeia, but I didn't know they had found cannabis in it. So that's a
there's a picture. You can't you can't understand what the words are about it, but
you can tell the plant. That's what's up. I would like to see.
Yeah, it's pretty distinct.
As I told him, the one that just I never could get rid of in my mind was the alligator lady on the table changing shape. That one was the one that was just like, what the hell? That was somewhere in there, or that like weird garden area where all the figures were. Yeah.
Well, now that's interesting. I'm not horribly. I mean, I'm aware of the manuscript. I'm not like any kind of an expert. I haven't done studying on it. Yeah. But the crocodile. Typically represented transformation and resurrection.
And that's literally what she does. Let me find that image. I know it's easy to find, I'm sure. Hang on, it'll take me a minute though. But yeah, that one just stuck with me. It really was one of those. It was like, this is something.
I always find it fascinating that all these old drawings and pictures have sort of the same cartoonesque style, right? They all have like the same cartoonesque style, actually. All these images in books. It looks like
Yeah, the way
it's
the
been done.
esoteric art is never good art. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right.
always pretty shitty
Well,
art, like the tarot cards. You look at
yeah,
and you're like, yeah,
it could be
yeah,
better. It could be better. No, I like it though, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
yep, yep. Where you're like, you look at like Crowley's art. It has a lot more. It flows. It's got a lot more flow
yeah,
to it as compared to the all the older stuff. Yeah, it did. It looked very, like you said, cartoonish.
yeah.
If Walt has that picture, did you find that picture,
So
Walt?
apparently, I've conflated two things. Apparently, what I was remembering is an image from the Codex Seraphinianus.
Ah, but that's like a fantasy book, I think.
Is it? See, I didn't know. Definitely was remembering it as part of the same type of artwork. Let me get it on the screen. Hang on.
So I just want to take a minute here.
Sure.
They say the truth shall set you free. But Flat Earth Papa in chat is so depressed because it feels like it's put him in a cage. Says there's no doubt in his mind or their mind that they're not crazy, but it's the rest of the world that they're worried about. I totally get that. Although there's a lot to be said without being too positive about your sanity. Well, they say that
I know that. So
Uh,
the insane will never question their sanity. So that's just something to
right,
keep in mind.
it goes right alongside the what is that? Where people that are stupid people don't have the intelligence to fucking figure out that they're stupid.
Exactly. But
Where the Sam hell did this go?
as far as the depression and the isolation feeling goes, I totally get that. I absolutely 100% get that feeling. That's again one of the reasons we started this, because we all felt isolated, especially coming into this flat earth information and just all these awakenings that we've been going through throughout our whole process, different for each of us. But it is very isolating because you do feel like you are completely alone. So then when
Well,
Google Hangouts allowed us to be able to come and be alone together, that's sort
Yep.
of what this has evolved into, where we can all just sort of live our isolation, but share in our experiences and be able to not feel so alone. Because that's so important to know that you're not.
Yeah.
There are people out there that are looking at the world the same, similarly to how you do. And that is a fabulous thing. Not everybody is crazy.
Well, and this is the hermit in the tarot. You know, the where you've taken in things and now you're digesting them and incorporating them into yourself, and you've got to do that alone. You know, and like, but like you said, you know, it's real nice. I know I didn't get this access like this, and I got to spend most of my life with everybody thinking I was batshit crazy. And then, you know, somewhere in between there, I went from crazy to brilliant, you know, somehow. Um,
I love it. I love it.
'Tis a fine line.
Yeah.
Man, I have seen something about alligators in this damn manuscript. I know I have.
Well, it'd be very interesting because, like I said, that's that would go more toward my question of whether this is similar to the Trinosophia. You know, that's what the Trinosophia and what truly the Emerald Tablets is the great work and understanding the process that you're going through in that. So that was my curiosity with the manuscript here does this also contain reference to the great work?
No, well, no, it doesn't mention it. It doesn't mention that. Well, but to be honest, you know, I've just decoded. Well, like I said, maybe 25, maybe 30 pages. So, and I think there's like over 200.
So wait, you had all of these experiences in the first 30 pages of this book? Sorry.
No, I didn't. I started out with the first 4 pages, and then I started randomly like look up pages. Try to get ahead in the story, or to try. Well, yeah, just to try something else. And then I found like new symbols, and I was like, oh fuck! I thought I had them all, And then I found new symbols, and so I had to. Yeah,
This is why I think when I say the Bible uses a little bit of truth to portray the rest of their sort of control, the Bible is a living book. You can have sort of that exact same experience when you're reading the Bible. You can read it, you can get something personal to you out of it every
Yeah.
single time. And I
Yeah.
think that it's an ability to write like that. Yeah. Whether it's like Benjamin says, it's just not from this particular time in the loop, or if it's a way of encoding and writing that it can speak to multiple people on multiple levels. I don't know what it is, but I think
I
that
think so.
I think
think
there's
so.
a big
I think
truth there.
definitely so.
Go ahead. I was done.
Also, because I found several codes, right, and they all seem to work. And I was thinking like, oh, I find this knowledge that I cannot share, so I will have to find a code to deceive people. And I was like, dude, what am I trying to do, man? It was getting weirder and weirder. So it got too weird. So I just had to stop it. And
I don't think that we're at a portion in the cycle where you even need to deceive people. Like that old, the old trope where you had to try and reserve these things for the people that were ready. And in my opinion, 99% of what I say, 99% of people don't fucking get in any way, shape, or form. And it doesn't matter how well I explain something, they're never going to get it.
yeah,
Ever.
Well, to quote our
you
good
might-
friend Lucas, who put this in chat a minute ago, explaining complexities in a simplified way is an art.
yeah.
It is indeed, sir. It is indeed.
It's like there's some scientists that can talk for hours about a very simple thing, but then there's also scientists that understand the art of explaining something very difficult, like in a few words, right? Yeah.
Yeah, simplifying something is it's just something it's hard to do all around. And that's, as we were talking about symbology, that's part of where the problem with symbology lies. It's the absolute best method to communicate something, but the person looking at the picture has to have a base knowledge, has to have a common sense in order to read it. So you take something like the green lion biting the sun, with all the stars in his back. Well, this is Mercury amalgamating the sun and making all of this energy available for the spheres behind it. Well, if you don't understand that Mercury as a plasma is green, this is never going to make any sense to you. Pretty much any of these actions, unless you've seen the action happen, when you look at that picture, you should see something and you go, oh, that's just like when this happens. Except for that nobody today looks at the picture. They just look at it and go, oh, that's a fucking weird picture.
Yeah. So yeah, like when you hear a fable and you know exactly what characteristic the animal stands for, right?
Right.
Like when the fox speaks, it's the witty, it's the con artists, and yeah.
Right, but having that lack of understanding, had you never heard of a fox, or in any way a fox is something that is completely foreign to you, well, then in no way would that part stand out to the story. You'd be like, oh, so he's talking to this other thing. That other thing wouldn't automatically be a witting, cunning trickster.
Yeah.
And so having that lack of base has made it so we can't decode things, because We are just a useless ass people who just doesn't get anything.
Well, but the knowledge of flat Earth is actually a pretty solid base, literally, and figuratively too, for common sense, right? Isn't it? I mean,
Well, it starts it. You
right?
get it, we're getting somewhere now. It takes away. It's not so much the flat Earth in and of itself that changes things, but then understanding that with flat Earth comes the fact that we don't have to debate the bullshit of space anymore and all the things. It just takes all of that completely out of the
Yeah.
equation.
Everything. Yeah,
That's
politics or
Gravity.
all of it. It just
Yeah,
it.
there's a
Really
lot of things it
simplifies.
just deletes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't got to argue with you about something that's made up that doesn't exist, so why do we need to? Yeah, it simplifies it, but it doesn't in and of itself carry the answers, but it sure helps when you stop bending your mind toward space and bending your mind toward things like gravity, where
Yeah.
you're like, well, how the hell does that even work? Well, why are you worrying about it? That's the same as when my kid asked me if Superman can beat up Batman. I don't fucking know, and I don't care. Like, this is a dumb question. And of course he
It
can.
is a dumb question. Yeah.
of course it is. Batman kicked that ass. No.
Exactly.
But it is also a bit of a sorcerer's stone. I've noticed that it's a desire to really want to be a better person. Maybe it's because you've now got this petri dish type feel where there's always somebody now looking over your shoulder, so you better be good. Or it's, holy shit, look at the responsibility that we've been given. We need to step up and be better fucking humans. With the flat Earth, I see a lot of that happening. The solar return is a prime example, where 99 people out of 100 there aren't going to steal a wad of cash sitting on the ground out there. They're going to pick it up and try to find the owner to it.
Right.
And I think there's a lot to be said there for, again, that depression and the loneliness that comes with these awakenings that are going on. It's there, but it's such a huge opportunity for growth. Once you can learn to be by yourself, once you learn to accept that the thoughts in your brain are just thoughts and they're fleeting, and you can just learn to accept and be still and hear that voice inside, pretty soon it's not quite so lonely being alone. And the isolation isn't so much of an issue. It's the idiots that don't listen. It's the blindness of the sheep that are out there that's the most frustrating. But I totally get the depression, and I really hope that you don't let it get to you and you can see it through, because on the other side is so much growth and happiness. It's really freeing and so exciting to be able to accept responsibility for this place on which we live. And yeah, I know the depression, and I really want you to fight and struggle through that, because the other side is really awesome.
Who's the depressed one? Is it Voynich?
No, there was someone in chat. I've already forgotten their name. They just posted recently too. Where was it? Flat Earth Papa. Maybe that's why I assumed it was a him. Papa makes sense.
That doesn't make sense.
So yeah, Flat Earth Papa was depressed and feeling alone and isolated, and knowing he's not insane, he just definitely questions everybody else, which there is that for sure. But
like I said, this is the understand that this is the time when in the tarot, because you take the tarot is a path that you walk through life, and everybody comes to the hanged man or to the hermit portion of things. And all you've done is come to the hermit portion of things, where you've taken all the external information that you've been given your entire life, and now you're internalizing that and seeing whether that's going to match up with what you feel and what you think inside. Now, only you can do that. So by its very nature, that's a very isolated, lonely thing. And it doesn't really matter if other people think what you think or even agree with you. That's the beauty of it, is that we all live in our own reality. Now, does that mean that you can just make anything happen? Well, no, because everybody else is also in their own reality, and our realities have to mesh together. And so just like back in the day when we used to have the garbage can parties, the guy that poured the Jack Daniels in there and then one guy poured vodka. Well, the Jack Daniels and the vodka are still separate entities, but when you go to taste it, you can't fucking tell. This is reality. So your reality's is going to mix with everybody else's. But you are still the writer in your own inside your own reality, and so it doesn't matter that nobody else sees it that your way. That's okay.
I have never before heard of a garbage can party, but I get the gist of it, I think, and that's interesting as fuck. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your voice. Go ahead.
Down here, ours was jungle juice in a big, huge ice cooler and all kind of fruit floating in it. And like you say, about 6 different kinds of alcohol poured in there.
Some douchebag always brought peppermint schnapps, and the whole damn thing tasted like peppermint schnapps.
Godverdamme. That should be prohibited.
Yeah. Your reality is way too strong. It's made all the rest of our realities taste like peppermint schnapps, you dick.
Learned my lesson. It's cream de mint this time.
But yeah, this is, whenever you're talking about the way the world works, that's what you're just talking about. So there's no reason, I understand being depressed, but when you understand that you're a very special individual living your own reality, and that all these things are going to happen to you in a very individual way, then you quit needing to have everybody else drag along with you. I'm perfectly okay. It gets to be where, like, if I pull a prank on somebody, I don't even need to be there to see the damn result. I'm going to laugh about it for the next 10 years. It might not even happened, but it did in my head, and I'm good with it. It's funny.
Yeah, they might have gotten seriously hurt and nobody laughed, but damn it, I've been laughing for years.
Exactly. Because that's my reality, damn it.
Yep.
Everything's perspective. Is it hot outside? Is it cold outside? It just depends on who you're asking.
Yep. Depends on the temperature of the house you're leaving.
Yep. It's all perspective. There is chickens roaming around in this parking lot. I cannot believe that.
Dinner waiting to happen.
I was going to say, that's free range chicken, man. What you doing?
I'm a vegetarian, so not doing me much good unless you drop an egg out.
Drop an egg. There you go.
Yeah, I do eat eggs. I eat eggs and milk and dairy and stuff. I'm a vegetarian, not a vegan.
What's the pescatarian? What's that? Fish and stuffs?
Yeah. They'll eat fish. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my niece, and quite a few of my nieces actually.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't eat fish either. I've known some fish. They're all right. Mm-hmm. If I was going to start eating meat, it'd probably be humans. They're the biggest assholes.
They are the biggest threat to existence.
T-shirt. I don't know what will be. Hell yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh
yep.
man.
If I stop being a vegetarian, the first thing I'm having is a human burger.
Yep. I rarely meet an animal I don't like. I meet humans I don't like regularly.
Truth.
Yeah, nobody wants to eat you, huh, meaty? You big meaty boy. Yeah.
Which I think it speaks to sort of the roots of where we come from and why they're trying to co-opt our power and co-opt who we are and who we should be. I think if we were all just a little bit more wild, I think things would probably be a little bit better.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. It's the rebel that they're killing.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to what was that? The Warshak? No, not Warshak. That's the ink blot pictures.
Is it I know which one you're talking about. Is it the prison one or the
No,
waiting
not
room?
the Stanford prison experiment. It's the one after World War II where they tested the Milford. Yeah, Milford
Sounds
experiments, I think it is.
Yeah, it sounds.
So they tested. What they would do is take a person and sit them in a chair, and they'd have another person behind a two-way mirror. And they would have the person in the chair, they'd ask them questions, and if they answered incorrectly, the person behind the two-way mirror was supposed to hit a button, and this button would start electrocuting, give a shock to the person in the chair.
I remember this.
Okay. So what was really being tested was the guy with the button. Can we get you to hurt another human being over something stupid and trivial, over something that there's no reason to hurt another human being? And what they found was that, the majority of people would go with the flow, hey, I was told to fucking do this. I know that sucks for that dude, but I was told. And then a small percentage truly enjoyed it. They're just like, yeah. And then a smaller percentage is what they called the rebel gene. And those people were like, hey, man, I can see that's electrocuting this dude. Fuck you. I'm not doing that. Don't give a shit that he answered the question wrong. I'm not doing that to another human. Well, if you read the entire study, all of that's fascinating. But the scariest part of that study was they claim that that's the rebel gene and that they believe that they could breed that out of people. That was the faulty gene and they could get rid of it.
Of course, that's the one they want to get rid of.
Right. So this was a World War II experiment. Well, where are we now?
That's also how they present the test, right? Like the results of the test are like everybody does it. So in other words, like this is how you should read the test because this is why we make the test. But you never hear like how many percent of the rebel gene was detected, right, in the test, because it must have been there. It must have been there if they did it right. But exactly, they present it in another way. They present it like, well, that's not even an issue. The way it's presented is everybody does it. Some feel sorry, but everybody does it. But like you say, there's also a certain amount of people that doesn't do it.
Right, and that's the amount that needs to grow. That's the problem. When if a government figure tells me to do something, if that goes against my internal moral compass, he's going to get a big fuck off. Nothing he says makes him above me to the point where I'm going to do things that I would not do. And that's an odd thing in today's society. We see it every day with these mask fuckers. And, oh, yeah, I know that's bullshit. I know it's all a story, but there they are wearing their mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You are the one that knew that you shouldn't push that button, but pushed it anyways. That's who you are.
So I was trying to get a little information just because I remembered this but didn't know the details. It was the Milgram, M-I-L-G, experiment. Yep. And apparently it was replicated in 2009 by someone who kind of found some ways of navigating the ethical concerns around it. But he noted the original experiment had about 79% of subjects would continue after the 150 volts after the first screams and continue all the way to the end of the scale, which was 450 volts. And then his 2009 experiment worked out at about 70% continuing that. So, yeah, people are pretty much still as banal about evil as they were now as they were then. It's crazy. Crazy.
Yep.
Quite a high score, right? Yeah. Disappointing high score.
Disappointing. Yeah. If I would not assume if I took a hammer and said hit Walt's hand, I would not assume 80 people would go, okay, I will go ahead and hit this man's hand. I know it's going to fuck him up and it's a bad thing to do, but I'll do it. That's a horrible number.
Well, just walk around and look at all the little sheeple droppings, those masks that are just littering the street. So it's not only is it you're doing this, but then you're just going to toss it. Just toss these deadly germs I've contained in this thing. I've contained all the deadly germs in this to the ground. Yeah.
Yep. Shouldn't it be in one of them little Sharps bins with the red plastic?
Right, with the big biohazard sticker on it, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Skull and crossbones.
That's also a reason to. It also makes it easier to be by yourself, right? I mean, where can you go with just people around? I mean, there's nowhere to go. But isolate yourself. Well, not isolate, but just
gotta find the people, man.
yeah. Oh, well, but by the way, I mean, I've met people via YouTube. By the way, I just have to travel. They just don't live in my city anymore. But yeah.
I feel that strongly, sir. Unfortunately, while everyone's gathering over there in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
wonderful solar return event, I would love to be at. Yeah.
With this that flat Earth solar return thing that they're putting together for later this year.
No, it's happening. It's this weekend. It's going
on.
It's
this weekend.
Good.
As we
It's looking
speak.
good.
Time is flying.
Time flew,
man.
my friend. Time flew. Time is quite a speedy little demon these days.
With everything that's going on, it's hard to keep up right now. It's and then I got my own stuff going on, and Marty's got stuff going on, and the stuff I'm working on with Lucas is probably the most important to me. So that's you got to focus on that, and just been a hell of a year. And Marty's talking about possibly opening up a school.
Nice.
Yep. So that should be real interesting. I know this summer Owen Benjamin wants me to come up and visit Bertaria and give some lessons on batteries and stuff. Yeah, so just a lot going on. I thought that was months away.
No, dude, this we're already a quarter of the way, whatever it is. It's 3 months in, damn it. If I could make my mouth work. So yeah, this year is flying quickly by. It seems like it just started. We're almost to the new year.
Yeah. I say to my wife, because I got married last June, and it just seems like we just got married last week, and it's almost our 1 year anniversary. It's like, jeez.
Well,
what the hell?
Happy early anniversary if we don't talk to you then, sir.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I can't believe that we got married, and then my grandkids were visiting, and then I went to New York and went to the thing in New York and went around, and then we had the whole thing to get ready for here and moving, and holy smoke. Now almost an entire year went by.
So how do you manage, like, with the whole crisis? You manage to live a life away from it, I guess, or
oh yeah, it barely. The only time it really affects me in any way is I mean, it's starting to, but it's in the same ways it's starting to affect everybody, where a lot of these things that you typically have access to, because these small businesses are being shut down, you get things like steel. Steel's the best chainsaw made. You can't buy a steel right now. They're just not out there because the steel plant's not been churning them out. And I would assume that that's because some small business that makes some little part for them isn't working right now. So in those ways, it's affected me. But for all practical purposes, it doesn't really affect me 99% of the time. There's one store in Garberville, in Redway, actually, that I just can't get into without a mask, and it's the fucking feed store. So there really isn't much I can do about that one. But other than that, it doesn't really affect me. I mean, I live out on a farm,
Yeah. Well, bless you. Bless you. Yeah.
You bet.
Yes, he does.
And honestly, it only affects the people that let it affect them, as far as I can see, because everybody tells me you have to do something, but I walk around. I was just in Tractor Supply right here, no fucking mask. Christy and I last June, when the mask stuff was hot and heavy, we traveled from California all the way to New York by vehicle, drove across the entire country, We went to Niagara Falls. There's videos on my Facebook of it. No mask in the tourist areas of Niagara Falls. Went to Philadelphia. We went to House on the Rock in Wisconsin. We did everything you could possibly want to do, basically, and didn't wear a mask the entire time. Not one time. Didn't even have one.
That's kind of how this whole thing has been for me. It's not even an event till people want it to be for themselves. They choose that. It's just a choice, and they don't see that. I don't understand why they don't see that. Very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Yep.
We talked this morning, I don't know how much, and I probably should because I know we probably have touched on this. I don't know how much of the hidden history, mud flood, reset thing you subscribe to. But looking at the huge proportion of insane asylums that there were, how huge they were, complexes of them back in the day.
Yep.
And how, it's kind of funny how that would probably be a convenient place to tuck away people who just don't want to toe the party line, call them nuts. Those crazy people that don't believe in the pandemic, those crazy people that think the ball isn't real, the crazy people that don't want to stick jabs in their arms, those crazy people, we got to lock them up.
Those genetic rebels.
Those genetic rebels. Exactly. So what, of course, if we have to repopulate this coming reset, we're not going to repopulate it with people who aren't going to have, we definitely want them to be free of that rebel gene, don't we? Of course we do. So it's just, things seem to be, I don't know.
These institutions usually have like large lawns and park-like decor. So that's a nice option. That's a nice feature.
They're disturbing.
Just a nice vacation. That's what we all need, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, so I did a number of years in prison over cannabis, and I was in a minimum security prison, because being a hardcore cannabis, guy, that put me right in there with the murderers and such.
Yeah, you got to be watched, dude. You're a menace. A menace.
Not that it matters, but
society.
Are there sentences that aren't numbers? You did a number of years in prison due to cannabis. I was just wondering, has anybody gotten a sentence to prison that wasn't a number?
Don't know. Yeah, life, I guess.
I'm just being a smartass, but really, my question was: do you mind saying what that number was?
8.
8.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, that's tough.
Less than a pound for a total. I got 2 different sentences: a quarter pound and less than half a pound. So for a little bit under a pound of weed, I got 8 years in prison.
No.
What state?
South Dakota.
That's fucked up.
Yeah,
there's not shit in South Dakota. What else are you gonna do?
Exactly. You have sex, get drunk, and get stoned. That's about it. Roll around in your tractor.
Grab a trash can. Have a party.
Yep. Grab a trash can, fill it full of booze. Have half a dozen kids. That's our lives. But we had to maintain the old asylum, and that thing was huge. And there was some other real oddities to it too. One of the spookiest things was, so when these inmates would die, they didn't put any kind of a name on their grave markers. It would just be a little cement box, and it would have a number on the top of it.
Wow.
And that's all it would be. And of course, these were all always ran by almost all these asylums were ran by the church. So it was always a nun or a priest or whatever, and they would have real big fancy grave areas, and like this big fucking shrine to this nun that worked in the insane asylum. And the most fucked up thing out of all that deal was there was a tree, and somebody did not take care of that tree long enough and let it grow, and it ended up becoming a full-size tree. Well, the tree sucked in one of those grave markers that was unmarked, that just had a number on it. So you'd be going out there to mow the lawn around this cemetery, the insane asylum cemetery. You're walking by this tree and there's a fucking gravestone sticking out the side of it with no name on it. Just the creepiest thing you ever saw.
Nice. Yeah, they had this place in Oregon. I can't remember the name of it now. It was right there on the tip of my tongue, but it was infamous. It was a criminally insane asylum, and it was empty, but you could kind of go around areas and see the building and stuff. And then not too long ago, they tore it down and built this just townhouses, just real quick, throw it up, won't be there in a few years type crap right over these grounds. And there's apparently all these old tunnels underneath. And apparently at one point someone was hiding in those. And I'm thinking, sure, they just built a new movie that's going to be coming out in a few years. The horror of the underground insane asylum dude in the tunnels that gets everybody in the nice new community. Right. I'm like, sure. They can't even, it's too real. So yeah. Of course, Oregon is known to have an unproportional number of criminally insane people. That's what my brother tells me out there.
Well, it has that reputation, and then also white nationalists. It has a reputation for being, that white nationalist. And then obviously we all know the reputation for having libtards.
There it is. There it is. Yes, sir.
So that it's a really interesting thing that so many very polar groups, if there's any honesty to
it. Oh, I've been there. It's kind of an interesting place. It's quite a mess. At first, I kind of was embracing the weirdness of it, but then I started seeing the commercialness and the trendiness and the hipsterness, and that was before it was even a thing they were making fun of on the Fred Armisen show, So, yeah, it really got thin really quick, really wore thin quickly.
Yeah, I've been up there a couple times, and like you said, it's an interesting place, but it's very fake.
Yep. Very put on. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, lovely people. I met some amazingly beautiful people there, but the culture they present definitely doesn't come across right, for sure.
Well, and the land is very interesting. It's such a very comparative to almost anywhere else in the country. It's extremely moist. So the vegetation around Portland is fucking near prehistoric looking. Mm-hmm. You're like, is that fern as big as my truck?
And there's just a regular pine in somebody's yard looks like something I would call a damn redwood down here. It's huge.
Right.
It's in their backyard. It's nuts.
Yep. So I find that all very interesting. And then I also, like I said, and that it's such a wet area, I find very interesting because, like I explained before with the when we were talking about the future and the past, Mercury is always that's part of why Mercury is so important and why it being liquid at room temperature is important. Fluid is always your receiver and what transfers. That's why Mercury is the messenger. Things got to flow through him. Like when the body first starts developing, and the first thing you're developing is your cerebrum, and the second thing you're developing is your cerebellum. Well, now we've got an anode and a cathode situation, but we've got no way to transfer that. So that Mercury's got to make that transfer possible and happen. So this is always going to be a fluid, and this is your receiver, your communicator, where you're getting things from. And for that to be such a very, very wet fluid area, and for those people to be so very polarized and etheric, I mean, the different, it's very similar to like Boulder, Colorado too. There's a few areas like that where the Christians there aren't just Christian. They are batshit crazy.
Militant Christians.
Yeah, militant. The witches there are they're truly sacrificing animals and doing the batshit crazy stuff. They're not just wearing mascara, the intensity that they bring to their spiritual sex is just insane.
I wonder how it ties into like the energy grids, the ley lines and stuff. I bet that's
Well, exactly.
part of it.
Exactly.
Because I felt the energy in places. I mean, you go from you go 40 minutes one direction, there's falls that are just pure energy falling down from, above. Go another direction and there's like the desert. There it is. It's desert. Holy shit. You go another way and there's the mountains and the snow. And it's like you're not going more than an hour in any direction to hit all this stuff. And you're right in the, or where we were in Wilsonville area. And then the valley there, I found out reading some signs while I was doing some walking around there. The Indians called it, the Willamette Valley. They called it the Valley of Death. They got the fuck out of there every winter. They just left because it was called the Valley of Death.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was a very interesting, and then that, like you say, the energy there and that moisture that just never leaves. You can put a rock. I found this amazing rock, very striated, very pretty, and I wanted to let the rain, which never stops, wash it for me instead of taking it in the house. And I set it off to the side in my little area where I would go out and have my little chill time under the tree. Within days, it was growing moss. Like within days, it was nuts. I'm like, sure, I took it out of the ground and set it up here, and instead of getting the dirt off, it's now growing moss.
It went immediately to biome.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. The Death Valley thing's amazing because then, you come down to California or even up into Oregon, the natives say that if you fall asleep in the redwoods, that you never leave. Very interesting. Again, the redwoods, they always raining, and if it's not raining, there's an extreme heavy fog because most people don't realize that redwoods don't really eat out of their roots that much. The capillary action that the roots will do doesn't go very far, which is why most trees don't get very tall. Redwood actually eats the moisture through its bark. And
doesn't that go for most plant life, actually? Like they get most of their growth actually from the air. So to say more than...
Not most. It just depends on if it has a tap root or it has the web type root. So like if you take like a cannabis plant or something like that, you can plant that in almost desert environment as long as the root system, which it doesn't, is pulling in enough. Where the redwoods, they don't exist where there's not fog. If there's not a super heavy fog, the capillary action of the drawing the water through the ground only carries so far. Even if you're using structured water where you polarize the water, because in your fourth phase water, the water actually becomes polarized and splits into a positive and negative. So then you can give it more push and pull energetically because now you've got like a magnetic pull going on. But still, you're talking about a tree that's 300 feet in the air. That tree is just literally eating the fog around it.
Yeah.
It looks like you muted yourself. But yeah, I never thought about such a thing. I don't know. It looks like I see your red mute button is on. It's somewhere there on the screen. But anyway, yeah, I never thought about such a thing as a tree actually consuming the fog around it that way. There was that whole thing when the No Trees on Flat Earth deal was kind of big, and somebody had presented these places where it's like the flat top plateau mountainous area.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was weird.
Well, it suddenly looked like it muted with you not moving. That was really weird. And we have no way here that can we mute him that I know of? No.
I could if I were to touch the mouse and move it over to there and click, but I was definitely not doing that.
No, I didn't mute you there. Sorry if I did by accident, but I know it did. But anyway, the plateau areas where these huge waterfalls just kind of come out of nowhere. There's no stream up there feeding it and stuff.
Yeah.
And the idea of these root systems pulling up the moisture. So that's interesting, though. That idea. I wonder if these places also have a higher fog density in that area. Something's flying around me. That's what I was thinking about when you were talking about the fog. I wonder if those trees actually have that fog thing around them that kind of is still happening.
Yeah, very well could be. Well, they say that the redwoods, that type of thing used to cover most of the North America at one point in time. So most of North America had to basically be a fog bank. You know, which
That's
if
what
you
these cypresses here in Louisiana do. These foggy ass this world we have here, and these big, huge. Have you seen the cypresses here in South Louisiana?
No, I've actually Louisiana is one. My uncle lives there, but it's one of the few places I haven't been to.
The massive trunks of these things. I'm sure as far as roundness, there's got to be some that are pushing into that area of not quite redwood, but huge. There's some monstrous trees here. And
well, now what's the bark like? See, so like the redwood, the bark is spongy.
Yeah, it's not like those layering things like the pines or whatever do. It's more akin to almost oak, but not quite. It's more porous than oak. I don't know how to explain it. Let me see. I'll find some.
I wonder if it does eat the fog then.
It's just never something I never even thought about because it's constantly foggy here. So you would think there has to be some. And they're huge. They're not tall those, but the hugeness just made me wonder. Let me find some pics. You guys talk amongst yourselves. It'll take a minute.
But yeah, anywhere where you've got that extreme moisture, like I said, they say that when you're trying to deal with other planes, which when you say another plane, all you're talking about is a speed of vibration, a general speed of vibration. Like it's a state of matter, no different than gas. Versus you can see something and touch it as a liquid, but as soon as it's a gas, it's invisible to you. It's the same concept. It's just understanding a speed of vibration, and the best path between these, the communicator between them is always a fluid. So anywhere where you're talking about heavy doses of fluid consistently around you, you're gonna conduct electricity much better.
And the other way around, possibly too, right?
Yep. Yep. So it's very interesting that these areas that are like that, like Portland, where it's so horribly moist, there's also such an extreme spirituality and what would appear to most the rest of us insanity. But your fanatic always appears insane, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, here's the trees. It's going to be hard for me to do this. Here's one. Oh man, these are all small pictures. I didn't do my thing correctly. Give me a second. So, there we go. Let's get some big ones. Of course, it's got to be a copyright picture.
Look at these fucking houses.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, these trees are massive, man, and they're like coated with the Spanish moss, which again, I wonder if
Spanish moss, yeah, the old Spanish moss for the fog, yep.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 just literally right across the street from me that are massive. You can feel the ancientness of them, but yeah, these trees are pretty insane.
Yeah, that's a big trunk. That is a big trunk.
Forest out of a fairy tale, man. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy Zach, when he came through here, he's from up north, and he was blown away by the trees here, and the ones like that are growing in the water. They're pretty nuts. Anyway, let me stop sharing. There we go. All right, but yeah, that's got me really. I'm gonna have to ask around. I bet people that are here that know this land, some of the older, because there's an Indian tribe that live right over there, the Chitimacha Nation. I wonder what their take on that would be. I'm gonna have to see if a buddy of mine might know, actually.
I would be very curious also.
Yeah, definitely gonna find out now. That's awesome. That's a new thing. Absolutely. So now not just hug a tree, but give him some fog too, man.
You betcha. That's we're related to trees, most of us. I don't know about everybody. I have my suspicions, for humans are not as similar as the science tries to make them out to be. But most of us, I think. Go ahead.
So, Benjamin, what's your take on since we're talking about electricity and fog around trees? What's your take on this plasma discharge that people have noticed? That look, have you heard about it? Like these trees starting to burn from the inside out, and
are you talking about during like the car fire and stuff like that, or are you talking about just randomly?
randomly, like in usually in wet forests. There's just many places in the ground like burnt spots and also burnt posts, but from the bottom up, right? So it's a discharge that comes from the earth and it starts burning. It starts burning the wood from the inside out and from the bottom up. And there's certain certain forests that have all these scorched woods and scorched posts everywhere. Haven't you heard of it? No.
So do you understand? Okay.
Vanessa, I don't know. Vanessa VA talked about it like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. She did a video.
If you take distilled water and you try and run current through it, current won't carry in distilled water, right? So the water needs to carry through salts. The energy comes through the salts. So this is electroconductivity. And depending on how much salt is in the water, this sets the electroconductivity of the water. Okay. So now if you get too high of a salt count, usually the first thing that happens is you end up getting nutrient lock. So, you put too much nitrogen on your plant and your plant starts, the ends of it will actually start burning and drying up, burning, turning black. And that's just a very, very mild case of this. Now, when you take it to an extreme, the plant will actually reverse itself. And rather than draw in water, the plant will dump all of its water out and then burn itself from the inside out because it's reached past of its electroconductivity ability. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, dude, no. I'm vaguely. I get what you say. I understand what you're saying, but I have too little. I'm not versed enough in that area to really understand it. But yeah.
In order for the cell to maintain integrity, it's got to have a certain amount of ohmage, so it's got to have resistance. And when it goes past that ability to resist, it's basically like opening up the floodgates. And rather than the cells trying to hold on to things, the cells will dump themselves out and basically empty themselves out because there's not enough tension to hold it in anymore.
So how come this is randomly happening in in trees and in lamp posts?
Because they've got too much electroconductivity.
Okay.
Everything's becoming too salty.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's probably indicative of because we're reaching the end of a cycle.
Yeah.
And this is why everything's so horribly etheric right now. Because at the end of the cycle, everything always becomes etheric. And every society does this. This isn't even just our society, and it becomes more etheric, and all of a sudden nobody can really do anything, and everybody has all these great ideas. And eventually that doesn't work out, and that society is going to have to crash.
Yeah.
And then we move back down into a heavy rooted society. Well, when that's happening, it's no different than a cold in your body. You know, the bacteria get in your body and it has to build up. And you've been sick for, you know, who knows how long before you actually start showing symptoms. And so the masculine return is coming. We are getting ready to switch back over into a masculine uh, uh, plane, and that would to me be indicative of that we're getting an extreme salt overload, which that's your masculine side.
Yeah.
So I would say that that's just another symptom of the cycle if I was going to guess.
Yeah, I certainly see it in that light. Yeah, I certainly see the explanation of yeah.
So, being quite the Fortean explorer throughout my whole life, I looked quite deeply into spontaneous human combustion years and
I
years
remember
ago.
that
That was a big thing for a while.
in the 80s.
And
That
yep,
was a big
it was a big
thing.
one. And while I kind of think they finally all just kind of wrote them off as accidental cigarette burnings, I wonder about this salt idea you're talking about.
Yep. People don't even realize the different chemical reactions that can happen inside your body and the weird shit that can literally happen. And
that
you
was the
know,
weirdness of them. It would be like, just knees down. I don't want to be too graphic and blow people's brains away, but yeah, just some really interesting things left behind that should have been consumed, and the fire didn't work out like it should have, it didn't seem. And that would be part of it, maybe just different buildup of these chemicals and
yep,
salts. Interesting.
yep, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, it's something so simple as uh, people can pull up a videos where they take distilled water and put an electrode in both sides and nothing happens. You throw a handful of salt in there and all of a sudden, boom, the magic happens.
Was that you? I think that you were on a few months back and we talked about the aqueducts in the ancient cities and how they could have been more than just water power.
Oh, absolutely. I talked about that.
Power. Yeah, going through them. Yeah.
At the very least, just simply piezoelectrics.
Exactly.
Come on now.
I thought it had to be you. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually asked that question at the Hoover Dam even. The Hoover Dam, one of the, supposed engineer guys was there giving a thing. And I said, and he was going on about the water pressure that's up against the dam. And I said, well, with that pressure, why wouldn't you just, make that side out of quartz at the very least and use piezoelectrics and draw power that way? And he just looked at me like I was speaking Greek. And he goes, I have no idea. Like, why would you do that? That's basically, they say that's how the pyramids produced power, because, first understand that energy has weight. Power is not an insubstantial thing. You can take a D battery and you can take 2 D batteries or any size, but D because it's bigger and easier to feel. And you can take 2 brand new ones, run one of them dead, and you'll find that the dead one doesn't weigh even close to what the full one does. There is literally weight to electricity. So you understand that the pyramids originally, the Great Pyramid, when Alexander the Great described it, this was a shining white pyramid, and each of the pyramids was a different color. Yep. Well, they've removed the stone out of the outside of that pyramid and used it to make different areas in Dubai and make these holy places in Dubai. But so what you've done is taken the insulation off the outside of this conductor. Well, as the sun hits this and it soaks in energy, it becomes more dense and more weighty. Well, underneath the pyramids, there's vast quartz beds and rivers. Now, the river is what we need to transfer that power. And the quartz beds, as the pyramid itself gains density with the energy, is going to actually start crushing this quartz and pushing it down and getting that to release its piezoelectric energy. But it's all very fascinating stuff.
Sorry, don't
So
mind
if-
us. We're just sitting here lost
No, I'm
in complete.
contemplating on the
Right.
idea of it. I was
I'm
sharing this
imagining it all in my brain. It's just mind-boggling.
I shared this thing with Lucas of the idea of the pagodas and how they sway in the wind, creating that piezoelectricity as well. Did he mention that to you at all? I don't know. Yeah,
Today was the first time I've talked to Lucas in a minute.
well, I so sad to know if you guys have been in touch or not with phones or whatever, but definitely that kind of broke my brain a little bit too, the idea, because we had talked about it. And then there was maybe a paper put out that showed some thing of like creating a way of, instead of having the big, fan farms out in the desert, having these things that would just be upright and would sway in the wind and create that. And then there you go. Here's the pagodas doing it in the past. So, yeah.
Well, and you stop and you look at it, your basic, which is what Lucas and I talk about, your basic galvanic battery, or even just a basic lead acid battery, the energy is actually being stored in the salt. So it's the removal of that energy from the salt, which is a crystal, which is no different than piezoelectrics. We're removing that energy from the salt, and it's only through forcing it back the other way that it'll happen. Which, if you start studying, organic chemistry, electric chemistry, that's the only way that happens. Is then you can force the energy through.
That's why you get these cauliflowers of salt on the contacts, right? And since you always talk about oil and salt, and how do you prevent from these cauliflowers of salt crystals to develop? Well, you smear oil on it, right? Well, grease, which is also oil. So yeah, makes total sense. Yeah.
And see, I'm still freaking out about the covering of the pyramid reacting to the sunlight and pressure and all that, because I'm thinking about that little toy, or it's not a toy, it's a scientific thing, but the little thing inside the globe, it's white on one side and black on the other, and when you shine a light on it, it starts spinning. There's a name, it won't come to my mind. Damn it. But anyway, the light literally is moving this thing, so that just kind of did break my brain, that one. Wow. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Lots of brain breakers today for sure.
So it sounded like there was something going on behind me. But I don't think it was coming from me. It's all in my head.
So what are your next plans? Yeah, now that you're back in civilization for a minute. Uh-oh, did he mute by accident again?
He did.
Well, you're not muted, but we're not hearing you, man. Hang on a second, because I don't see your red mute button.
There's two little trolls in some government office giggling like little schoolgirls.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah, good old mountains.
I remember them well. But anyway, you were not even heard at all. What's your plans? What you got going on next, my friend?
Oh, I don't know. Huh.
That's a good place to be. That's a good place to be sometimes.
Yeah. My dad just left today, and mostly I want to get on this experiment with Lucas, where because when you understand this to its completion, and you start looking at the galvanic cells, and matching it to the universe, you understand that each of these metals is doing something, and it's just all basically one big battery, with Mercury making the transfer happen with all this crap. So obviously the next stage is making a functional, actual, because I'm into real science, people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, make something that actually functions off of this.
So something came to mind when you were talking about that, actually, the idea of the Mercury being part of the transfer. So is that not just out here, but you're talking about in the brain as well?
Right. In the brain, this would be the mercury would be your cerebral spinal fluid.
Well, that's what I wondered is what you meant inside, because, you know, we're told mercury is not something you play with.
Well, that's a lie. Actually,
that's, of course, what they would tell us, that
Right.
if it was something beneficial to us, don't touch that. Well, of course, it's going to absorb into us and help with these transfers or whatever you're talking about.
You bet. Yeah, Lucas was actually just looking at that, and he said every single person that has died of mercury poisoning is famous. Super famous.
Dude, as a kid, I would break thermometers on purpose and go, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then play with that shit for like an hour until I'd lose all the little pieces of it. It was like my favorite thing ever. So maybe that's why I was able to process some of the things in life later that people didn't process and couldn't handle these truths and these revelations, because I'd made these mercurial absorptions playing with it. Because literally, as a kid, that was my mom too. She would like, here, have fun, y'all play with it. Everybody gets a little piece and don't lose it, and don't drop it in my carpet, you know. So yeah.
Even today, you look in like South America and stuff. Because one of the big things that mercury does is it amalgamates gold. So literally, it eats gold. Well, in order to retrieve gold from the dirt, what these people do is they just pour mercury over the dirt. The mercury eats the gold, and then you let the mercury flow right through. You take the mercury and pull the gold out of the mercury. Well, little kids are out there doing this every day.
Right.
They're out there playing with it. If you look up in India, which I'm not suggesting people go start rubbing yourself down with mercury, but if you look at it, like there's a video on YouTube, it's Mercury 3 healing, and it has a Indian yogi, and they process mercury to where it's in a solid state, and they'll literally take just sheets of gold and sit there and rub it into this mercury, and the mercury will just eat the gold. And then they take this and they put it in a liquid, always with the transfer happening in liquid, and they use that for healing benefits. And these are, like 100-year-old yogis.
Right.
So, that's the damn thing. Just like with flat Earth, we've got to basically almost get back to square one, where we just say, you know what? I don't know. I just don't even know. I don't know what shape the Earth is. I don't know what anything is. And start learning again from there. We can't take any of the things that we know because we were taught and take them as anything, because they're all all
tossed. Yeah. And almost go the opposite way and start there and look there. Whatever you were told, look on the other end, start there and see if you can find your way back to that shit you were told.
Yep.
If you find your way back there, then it might have some truth behind it. Otherwise, you'll probably find more over here.
Yep, exactly. It's pathetic. Well, gentlemen, I have got to get in and grab some bag balm before this closes.
That'll work, friend. Thank you for popping in and hanging out. Always welcome. Glad you're back around, man. And I'm excited to see what you and Lucas come up with, for damn sure.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I enjoy talking with you. That's
absolutely, man. Absolutely. Come back whenever. Absolutely welcome. You know that, man.
Nice to meet you, Benjamin.
Nice to meet you also, Voynich. You guys take it easy.
Take care, man. Love you, friend. Well, how much more time do you have, boy? Because we certainly don't want to keep you too long, man. It's definitely
well, I'm grown sleepy. I think
absolutely understandable. We're approaching a good 2.5.
It's 1:20 a.m. here, so yeah.
We had promised ourselves at one point in time that we would start making these 2-hour shows, so that when someone was approaching some of our work here and some of the guests we bring to this, instead of seeing a 4 and 5 hour video and going, oh shit, I can't watch that, maybe a 2-hour video, I'll sit and watch some of this for a minute, because I know even myself, when I go to a person's channel I love, I generally don't click on their 4 and 5 hour videos. It's just not something I can do anymore like I did in the early days. I did a lot of that in the early days. I sat and watched many 5-6 hour videos. Made quite a few myself.
No, but you're right. You're right.
What you got
2 hours.
going on, my friend? What you got going on next? I saw you stream some kind of bomb thread.
Bomb. Oh yeah, there was this bomb thread
What's
in.
that about? I just remembered that.
Yeah, but it was a hoax. Of course,
It
it was
was
a
a
total.
hoax. Well, good.
Yeah,
That's
it
good.
was
That's good.
very clear.
Well,
Yeah.
you're welcome to come anytime, hang out with us you'd like. And definitely, man, appreciate you hanging out with us and chat and being
Same
there
here, man.
all the time, man. You just don't know. Always welcome to come anytime, anytime you want to drop in and call us on the Ironworks part of it. You know, we're always there too. So
Awesome.
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it was my pleasure too, Josh and Walt, and we'll certainly do it again.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Jesus Christ, I turned my back for 1 minute and
Dude,
everything.
yeah. Everything.
Yeah,
Part without
so everybody's leaving. Yeah.
See, it's what you get. It's what you get. Nah, yeah. Ben had to run in and catch some bag bomb before the venue there closed, and it's getting late on the one side of the plane. So I think we're going to call this a 2.5 hour one, maybe close to 2. What is it?
Let's do it.
About 4-2.
Let's do it.
Close to 2.
Yep.
It's an IRM short.
That's fine. Well, like I told him, we had promised folks way back we'd start doing 2-hour shows so they'd be a little more consumable, you know, a little more consistent. Maybe 3. If it was really humming along.
So here's what I did was I got
When's the last
Hit
time
Film
that ever
Express, right? I kept trying to download it on this MFN computer that I have that I got from Jonathan from Jersey, but it's just too old. But then I have this laptop right here that I have for the soundboard, so I can have the soundboard up at all times and just mash the buttons whenever I want. I thought, So I went ahead and tried to install Hit Film Express on the laptop, and boom, there it is. So I know I have for sure Hit Film Express in there. I went ahead and bought a couple of little add-ons in there just because I'm a nerd like that, and I like to play around with the video editors and the VFX compositing and things like that too. So I had to spring on that. So.
Nice. I haven't looked at that one yet. I have to go see what it has, bells and whistles wise. I do remember you sending a spider or 2 scurrying down a hallway or 3.
And that was just stuff I got off of YouTube. That was just basic chroma keying with green screen. Yeah. But that was some early stuff, wasn't it?
I remember, as I said, that was back in the day, making my little bank, shoot the penny in space.
That was good, dude. That was fun. Yeah, there should be lots of fun stuff to play with. I don't have the full version, but there was a lot of stuff in there I don't know how to do, so didn't see the point in paying for everything. But didn't want just the Hit Film Express because I'm a nerd like that. So
I feel you.
Okay, hey, bunch of nerds. I'm saying goodbye.
Thank you, friend.
Boy,
let us know whenever you want to come hang, or if you want us to come visit over there, let us know, friend.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right, man. Take care.
Will do.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Well, Zach, we miss you, friend. Definitely. Lucas, miss you as well. Hope you're having a good market there. I saw you in chat a few times. I know Zach's having a blast, no doubt. Probably catch him on some of the channels that are streaming. At one point, I thought we might pop over to one of those and share it, but it's been a long Friday for me. I didn't actually get that map in. So,
yeah,
even after we discussed it this morning, the need for that map with Caleb, I didn't get mine in, and I suffer from it.
That was a hell of a show. Too bad half of it was missed by people on YouTube. But we should have a good version.
Can fix that. Yeah,
and I've got a video editor I can do all kinds of fun stuff with. I had to make sure I got that. The visualizers I was making early on with HitFilm were fucking awesome. What I use in the mornings for IRM is loosely based off some of the stuff I was doing in HitFilm with my radio appearances, because it was just audio. So I made like the audio visualizers, but you can adjust it in some really cool ways. So yeah,
because I was trying to figure out what to do to remake those shows where the audio was dropped on my end as well as what to do. I know just a static picture gets old, and then showing random pictures that really don't have anything to do with what's being discussed gets confusing. So yeah, those things might come in handy.
Actually, I guess even this screen that we're showing on YouTube, well, not now because I haven't transitioned yet since you were last sharing your screen, because Well, I got stoned.
Oh, so it's just been straight on my mullet.
Well, it's just been the Zoom screen. Usually I have the have no sphere with the little clock and the date and the horizon line.
Swerve. All righty. Well, folks, thank you all. It's been a long day. Thank you all in chat. It was amazing trying to keep up with y'all. I had no help, no clue. I was definitely not at all interacting like I normally do, but my heart was with you guys. As you saw, it was quite the conversation on this end. So I hope you guys were enjoying it as much as I was.
Well, I guess that'll do it, won't it?
Yep. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Walter.
Absolutely.
Shout out to everybody there in chat. Thanks so much for sticking with us tonight. Sorry we cut it short, but I guess like they were saying earlier, it's just a matter of perception. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad. Either way, we love you. We appreciate you guys hanging out. No, too late. Too fucking late, Walt.
All right, I didn't know you clicked it off.
Nah, go ahead.
Apparently, Brian Stavely, you asked, is streaming from the Solar Return at the moment. So you guys pop over there to Brian's channel, who's also been promised that we would have on here. And damn it, we just have yet to get that to happen. We will make sure Zach makes that happen while he's in his face this time. Damn it, we will do it. Thank you guys again. I'll shut up and let you turn that thing off.
All right.
Hit the button, Josh.
Will do. I'm going to... Actually, I got a little something before we get out of here. Yeah. All right, guys. Be good. Be well. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Little boxes on the hillside. Little boxes made of ticky-tack. Little boxes on the hillside. Little boxes all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. And the people in the houses all went to the university where they were put in boxes and they came out all the same. And there's doctors and there's lawyers and business executives, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. And they all play on the golf course and drink their martinis dry. They all have pretty children. The children go to school, and the children go to summer camp, and then to the university where they are put in boxes. They come out all the same. And the boys go into business and marry and raise a family in boxes made of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the